Welcome. This is Rebel Ruse with Rebecca. I am so excited to be joined today. We are doing a virtual tour and open house of a beautifully renovated Off-Grid Skoolie. And I have Roshan here with me. He is the seller and also the person who put all of the heart and soul into this beautiful Off-Grid Skoolie. So I wanted to invite him on today to tell us a little bit about the renovations and the whole process and everything that went into making this amazing skoolie possible. So I am going to bring him on. Hi, Roshan.
Hi, Rebecca. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm so excited to be working with you through Tiny House Society. And when I have looked through all the photos of this bus, this was one of the listings that I just really connected with. I love how colorful the exterior is. It's so much fun. And then the interior finishes, the skylights, it's just absolutely amazing how you did it up.
Sure. Really appreciate that.
Amazing. So let me go ahead and just have you introduce yourself. And then if you want to share a little bit too about everything that you've poured into this skoolie and the backstory. And then we can, of course, screen share and show some photos of the bus itself.
Sure. So I'll start from the top. My name is Roshan. I am a entrepreneur based out of Staten Island, New York. This bus was originally bought with the intention to have it as a stationary Airbnb rental at our property in the Catskills. Me and my partner, Peter Botros, were looking at tiny homes. We had 6 acres and we had a small cabin on the property that we had listed on Airbnb, and we just wanted to make more out of the property, be able to have 2 or 3 more dwellings where we could rent out. And we're constantly on Marketplace, and random Tuesday in May, I think. I was looking through Marketplace. I had found the school bus, and I said, what if we do something cool with the school bus? And all the school buses out of schools or wherever they're coming out of were listed for right around, I would say, 4 to 10,000. And we had found one for 5,000 in Pennsylvania. So it was a 2-hour drive for us. And the next morning we went and picked it up and brought it back. And we had no plan with, how we were going to design it or build it or anything. But we knew that we wanted it to be a Airbnb on our property upstate. So it only took us about, I would say, 6 to 7 months. We worked with another contractor that's our partner. My partner owns a couple of restaurants here in Staten Island and New Jersey. And, everything the team has done, especially him with the restaurants, is all creative design. And it all comes from the heart and soul. No interior designers are hired usually to plan layouts or anything. So that's kind of the same thing we did here with the school bus. And I think within a week, we started, taking the seats out. We started just drawing some floor plans and where we wanted the kitchen to be, where the bathroom was going to be. We researched a lot about the water systems, electrical, solar, all of that stuff that we had literally no idea about originally. And with the help of our contractor, we were able to buy some stuff that was made for houses, such as the skylights, but we made it work within the school bus. And we wanted it to be like a rustic hippie theme, so that's what we stuck with. The inside is very rustic. We've used mainly like a brown texture, butcher block wood, and all that stuff that gives it like really like a rustic, warm feeling. As far as the bedroom, we put it all the way in the back where it made sense. It fits a full queen size bed. The sofa we bought was a what do they call it? A sleeper sofa. So we were able to make it work where it pulls out so that 2 people could sleep on that. So the bus comfortably sleeps four, and if there are children, we have some benches in the front where one or two kids might even be able to fit there for sleeping purposes. Little dining table, decent sized kitchen, and the bathroom I think was the best part. We really made it immaculate. The tiles used, the faucets, the shower, the lights we use were able to use in there. I think came out really nice, and it's actually my favorite part of the whole build. Even the toilet, we used the regular toilet, which we were first afraid might crack while we were driving, but because we knew we wanted it to be stationary, we said, it's okay. Let's see how this goes. And honestly, we've driven it back and forth to the Catskills a couple times. We've driven it as far down as the Jersey Shore, up to Boston, Massachusetts, and haven't had a problem so far. So I think it's good for someone who even wants to travel with it. Um, as far as the electrical, we have a full solar setup that we have an AC heat system. We have the shore power connection where, if anyone is driving and goes to a campsite, they could plug in and just have power through there. And the outside, we just had an artist come in and design the whole thing to be sort of a hippie flowers vibe with Last Stop Skoolie as the name. So once we did that, it did get a lot of attention here on Staten Island. We had it up at a couple events, including one of the events at my partner's restaurant is Summer Wine Stock. So it's a really hippie event. And we had it posted up for there. And so that we had it in Staten Island for about a year, and then I think it was July of 2024. Yeah, July of 2024, we drove it up to our property, and we had like a nice outdoor area built with string lights and a hot tub. And long story short, once we got it up there, we started, building the area with gravel and stuff. The county called us up and told us that we weren't able to have the RV on our property for more than 15 days as per their codes. And we tried to fight it a few times, but it just didn't hold up for them. And I think I think the county and New York in general is a little more closed off to these kind of creative things, but we did think about getting land down south and just somewhere that they would allow us to do it. Um, have the Airbnb set up there because it would be a great cash flow asset. Um, as far as financials, as far as a financial investment. And in the meantime, for the last year, we've been renting it out on Outdoorsy here and there. And my partner and I just have so much other businesses and projects going on that we don't really have time to, take care of it and promote it. Really, really get really get some financial gain out of it, which was our goal. So that's why we're looking at a new home for it. Someone who wants to travel across the country, which my partner and I would never be able to do in the bus, or someone that wants to use it as an investment and has it up as an Airbnb if they already own property or think they're buying property. Obviously where somewhere the code county laws would allow it. Um, I think for that idea, it's a great idea because it's the number one thing about this bus is it's Instagrammable, and that's really all you need for people to be very attracted to it. People would want to rent it, stay a night, even if they're not even looking to just have a place to sleep, right? It's more about creating that experience, and that's what me and my partner do with a lot of projects that we work on. We work on curating experiences. So this in itself, again, is an experience, and I think there's between 18 to as old as 50, 60. I think that demographic would love to just be able to experience this bus and everything it has to offer. And for four people, it's a great setup. If they are coming with kids, it's a little more tough, but it's doable. It's sleepable still, but for especially if it's two people, a couple, I think it's a really unique staycation, whether it's a night, 2 nights, and we're just at the point where we're looking at a new home for it because we just don't have the time to go back and forth with all the things that goes into it. So mechanically, we've done the fluid changes, transmission, oil, coolant flushes in July of 24, right before we brought it upstate. And there's all new tires in the back. We had to get them replaced. They were bolting out. Um, as far as the motor and transmission, we were told the bus has 148,000 miles on it, but when we bought it, we were told the engine was replaced when the seller, our seller, had just bought it off a auction from a school, and he just wanted the engine to do some sort of diesel swap with another vehicle, but we brought it back from Philadelphia and from Staten Island to our property in the Catskills. It's about 3 hours. So we've driven it back and forth there a few times. Like I said, we brought it from Massachusetts and back. So it drives. There's no problem driving it as far as that goes. The only thing I would say is there is a limiter, I believe, at 55 miles an hour, which can be taken off if anyone wants to, which can be taken off by a mechanic if anyone wants to do that. It's a heavy vehicle. It weighs 22,000 pounds. You don't need a CDL to drive it. It's registered as an RV in New York. So as long as you have a regular license, Class D, and you're able to physically drive it, you don't need any kind of special license to drive it. That's a question I always tend to get. And the reason for that is it's not over 26,000 pounds and it's not classified as a passenger vehicle. It's a personal RV. If you were transporting kids in the school bus, it would be a different kind of license, obviously. Um, so yeah, as far as that, it's drivable and everything's good mechanically. And I think I'll wrap that up. That's most of the information I had.
Woo!
Rebecca, any questions other than what I explained?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for sharing the story. And I think something I would be curious about, because I know we had it listed at 45,000, which is an incredibly reasonable price for, completely renovated, turnkey, ready to literally drive off. You could take it all across the country. You could, like you said, use it as an Airbnb, maybe do a little combo of both. But we actually just recently did a price reduction because, like you said, you have so many businesses you're running, you're ready to kind of move on with your life and find the perfect buyer. But how much, I know you expressed how much time you put into it. It was like almost, you said 7 months of the renovations, that whole process. How much financial investment as well? Because there's the price of the bus, and then there's like this beautiful shower, this bathroom, the kitchen
Yeah.
area, the sleeping, and the skylights that you add. Like, what did all of that add as well in terms of the renovation budget? Because it's
Yeah.
decked out.
So we were by the time we were done and bringing it upstate, we were at $78,000 fully to complete the bus. The solar system itself, I think we have again, we didn't know anything about solar or plumbing, so we made a couple of mistakes and we learned through them. But the solar system that we have, we after we did it, we were told it's more than enough solar for this type of unit. We kind of just bought however many panels fit in, and we made it work with the batteries. The batteries we bought like top tier ones. I honestly forget the amperage of them, but everything's everything's like almost meant for a home, right? And that was our idea from the start. We wanted it to be a stationary thing, so including the bathroom, we were at that 78,000 mark. And originally, I was trying to, when I first posted it for sale, we were trying to get 86,000, I believe. That's what I had first put it up for sale at. And I quickly learned that it's the market for this. It's more selling the dream, selling the experience. So it's worth it to whoever thinks that experience or dream is worth. And the unit itself, with the material and whatever we paid a contractor, the solar system, the water, to have it all functioning ready, the mechanical maintenance that we've done, the tires themselves, are very expensive. So we spent all that money, and we're just at a point where we'll take the loss. We learn through it, and we just wanna. It's parked in my partner's driveway right now, and we're paying, our insurance is at $300 a month, a little right under $300 a month actually, and we still have that expense, and we've been paying that for almost 2 years now. So we want to get rid of any additional expenses that we spend on it, and we just want to be able to find a good home for it at this point.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'm pulling up some photos too, so we can do a little virtual tour, a little walkthrough. I
Yeah.
love this accent wall, and that's all tile work, right?
Yeah, it's all tile work. As you can see, that table is butcher block. Butcher block's not, and it's not a vinyl countertop. So
Yeah,
doing skylights isn't
super
isn't
durable.
cheap. You can see we've used pallet wood where it was necessary, but even that was stained, and we made it look nice. So the bathroom is all tile.
Yeah, let's go to the
Um,
bathroom.
yeah, the bathroom
Woo!
is all tile, and
Wow.
you could see the trims. Those aren't just cheap Amazon trims. We really did spend a good chunk of money on it, and at the time, because again, we thought it was going to be a stationary rental, we were like, if we're going to buy a tiny house, it's going to cost us X amount. So this is actually good for what we're trying to do, and the financial ROI was there, as far as what we were going to do on Airbnb. So the paint on the outside, it had to be coated and done correctly. So that wasn't a cheap drawing, as you can see.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. From the exterior to the interior, the entire thing. You all did a great job. I love too the ceiling color because it does open up the space. And I feel like with Skoolies, you have all those windows, so beautiful natural light. And it really makes a big difference to have those touches like the ceiling color and then also those skylights.
Right.
Well, very well done. And thank you so much, for taking the time to share. I think this schoolie is just so unique. Whoever ends up buying it, they're going to be a very, very lucky human being because it's absolutely gorgeous. Y'all did a great job. So I did post this on the Schoolie Nation Facebook yesterday, and the post just blew up. There was like, I don't know, almost 100 comments and like all these likes and folks interested in asking about the bus. So we have had a lot of interest. So if folks are interested in placing an offer, ideally it would be a cash offer because financing can be tricky with stuff like this. You
Yeah.
could probably get a personal loan through something like Lending Club or Lending Tree. But aside from that, the process to place an offer once it's accepted, if you're not in a place to come to Staten Island to pick it up, do you want to speak on that, Roshan? Is there any wiggle room with helping folks like actually logistically, so that they can either come pick it up and drive off with it, or to get it to where they are living if it's somewhere else on the East Coast or really anywhere in the United States and presumably
Yeah.
even Canada?
Of course, anywhere in the States really. To be honest, I think it's better for someone who's living or traveling out of somewhere like California or Florida down south. My experience with trying to get it sold, and just the rentals we had, the events, even people who wanted to rent it out reached us out from Alabama, Texas, California, Florida, those states. So I think in general, I think the West Coast has more of an aura for it, and the market for it in general. So I'd be willing to work whatever out, as long as we have a proper agreement in place, to get it shipped across the country, to get it driven, and coordinate anything in regards to that.
Perfect. Yeah. And I think too about how much someone would spend on a tiny home or a motor home. And like this is just an amazing price. And so, this is the Christmas time spirit, holiday season. This is the perfect time for someone to take that leap of faith and, live tiny or go on their next journey, their next adventure, or invest in it as an Airbnb. I was wondering, Roshan, if you have time, could I also share about your mobile creperie?
Yes, yes, of course.
Okay. Do you want to tell the story about that while I pull up some photos?
Yeah,
Why
so
stop with one schoolie? Let's
yeah.
go for two.
So as we were finishing this build and we had it completed, I think at the time. Um my partner, the contractor, his son always wanted to open some kind of crepe shop or restaurant, something small. Um and we started looking for brick and mortar, retail spaces here in Staten Island, and we couldn't really find a good location or anywhere that really suited us for what we wanted to do. So we ended up, looking for another bus, and we were like, we've already done one. We kind of know the solar, electrical, the water situation, and we know where to buy the material and all. Like, let's just do it on a bus. Let's see how it goes. And my partner Peter and I, we are very spontaneous. We don't really overthink any decisions that much. So, just like the yellow schoolie, we said, all right, we're gonna buy a bus and we're gonna do it, and that's what we did. We our fault. We didn't really look at the laws or the permits when we bought it and when we were building it. It did come up in a few conversations, but we always thought, it's a mobile food truck and we'd be able to make it work with the city as that. We we opened we built that up as a mobile creperie, pink themed, and again, we wanted to serve an experience. We wanted to make something really Instagrammable where girls would go crazy and guys would want to bring their girlfriends and sisters and just, see the bus and have a crepe, have a hot chocolate, and just enjoy that experience. So we opened in November of 24 at Empire Outlets in Staten Island. They allowed us to set up there, and we opened with a temporary permit that we had, which legally allowed us to operate for a few weeks. And after that permit expired, we stayed open. We were trying to get the right permit. We were trying to get a mobile food vending permit, but the issue came up to where they couldn't classify as a mobile food vending truck or a restaurant in New York City because we had indoor seating. And I'll start by saying that's just New York City's health code and their specific law. I looked at other places in New Jersey, township to township, the law changes. And one place that I really did want to bring into was Dallas, Texas. They actually have the classification for something like this with indoor seating. And in general, there are counties, there are states where this is totally legal and they'll permit it with no issues. New York City is just tough in general for a lot of things. And, we were at the point where they told us, if we wanted to keep the indoor seating, we needed to be a restaurant and comply with the restaurant health codes, which means we would have to have permanent plumbing, permanent electric, grease traps, and all that stuff. And all of that meant like an infinite amount of money, and we still might have not been able to get approved. The same with the mobile food truck route. If we had asked the mayor's office actually if we were able to take if we took the indoor seats out and we did XYZ, they still couldn't guarantee us a permit because we just have to change so many things inside the bus. Just making the whole thing a kitchen, having like a storage area and that. So when that happened, we were open for 3 months. We did really well financially. People loved it. All the community was very supportive. The mall that we were at was very supportive, helped us out with whatever we needed to operate. We had great staff, great customers. And when a health inspector finally came and we didn't have the permit, he was trying to help us and figure it out, but his higher ups just told, that they couldn't classify us as anything, so we had to shut it down at that point. Um, so we had plans to just do the private events and stuff because we'd be able to get a legal permit for that. But that, requires us doing it as a business actually. And between me, Peter, and my partner Juan, we're so spread out with other things that we couldn't really sacrifice a 2 day. If there's an event on Saturday, we'd have to prep Friday, get it ready, and then we'd have to get someone to drive the bus and set up there and do it. And those one-time things just weren't worth it to us, with everything else we have going on. We sort of similar, we wanted to, as the picture showed, we set it up as a stationary thing at the mall, connected the electric. We had a system to dispose the water and refill it, and we just wanted to leave it there, service the community through there. And if we were able to do a private event, we wanted to, and we did a couple throughout last year, even after we left Empire Outlets. But that's the story with that. And for that, I'll say with everything we've tried permit wise, everything we built, the kitchen, the indoor seating, we were at around 94,000 for that
Whew, and
for
now
that
it's
as
listed at
well.
45. So another situation where the tile work, it's just
Yeah.
beautiful. The way all the finishes, it's incredible the way that you all built it out.
Yeah, and to this day, everyone loves it. The city told us that we're very creative, and they appreciate us trying and everything. But as per their codes, they said was that we could push the legislature and try to get a bill passed, try to change the law, but that was a 2-3 year thing where we have so much other stuff going on where we couldn't afford to care about this that much. So same thing, it's just parked in a driveway, and we've just given up on the whole bus conversion thing for now.
Well, you did
Um,
a great job with the two that you
yeah,
did convert. They're amazing. And whoever does walk away with these, they're going to have just such a cool head start. Like, I could see the creperie. It doesn't have to stay a creperie. Like, let's say
it doesn't
someone,
have to stay a creperie. Yeah, it has
yeah,
it has a kitchen where it could be converted to, something else, whether they wanted to sell chicken and rice or they wanted to sell even flowers in it. It
yeah,
could be converted to something really cool. Obviously whatever someone changes it to, the outside might need paint work and they might need to switch that up, which we spent almost 10,000 doing that paint because we wanted it to last forever.
yeah.
We hired an artist to draw little accents and words. So yeah, whoever does it would have to spend some money, on the outside, just redesigning it. The kitchen itself doesn't need to be fully redesigned, but they could cook whatever they want. They could add a grill, they could add a fryer, they could add whatever they need to cook up whatever they want to sell, right? And as far as the inside, it's really just some paint work, changing some signs, and that's why we priced it the way we did, because we knew that there's a couple $1,000s in renovations for whoever wants to buy it, because it would have a rebranding phase. But it's a really good, as far as the electric, the plumbing, the mobility of the vehicle, is 100% solid. There's absolutely no issues driving this vehicle. Um, and just considering those stuff, I think they're both priced, especially the creperie, at a really, really great price for anyone who wants to start a business and roll with it. Just do that.
Yeah. And just because New York City is so strict, like that does not mean just because it's parked there in Staten Island, like moving it to a place, like you said, like I used to live in Austin, Texas, and this would just crush
Yeah, yeah,
like having, and you could do a bakery, or you could just bring it for like a bachelorette party or baby
right.
showers or weddings or what. I could see this just completely, it's just so well done and beautiful. Like it's turnkey. Like why, if you're an entrepreneur, it's just perfect. You guys did a great
Yeah,
job.
yeah. We always wished we had a partner that was able to to be sort of more involved in the business, because us three, with just everything else we had, we weren't able to be as involved doing the private events and stuff. So getting it to an event, promoting it, doing the whole marketing thing for it, managing the social media, which is where the private events would come from essentially, right? So
Right.
I think for someone who wants to actually do it and pursue it as a business, it's a very great investment. It's a very great unit.
Well, both are amazing. And so, if anyone watching or if anyone watching this replay would like to connect, I'm going to drop the listings from the Tiny House Society website in the description. Roshan, thank you so much for your time. Let's see if we have 5 people watching. Do we have anyone who wants to ask a question? We're going into our Q&A. Any questions for Roshan before we sign off? So we looked at the yellow skoolie, and then we also looked at the pretty and pink. Both are available right now, similarly priced, turnkey, ready to roll. If anyone wants to place an offer, we are looking to get these off of Roshan's plate as soon as possible and into your life to enjoy. I don't see any questions, so I think. Do you have any closing thoughts, Roshan?
Not really. I would just like to find a new home for both of them, and we're willing to, coordinate, like Rebecca and I discussed, any kind of transportation, because I do believe that it's someone away from New York that's going to be interested in the buses, and we don't want the location of the buses to really scare anyone off, in terms of coming to see them or, just purchasing them. So, yeah, I just want to be very transparent with, we're open to figuring out the shipping and transporting. And as far as the buses, they're both in immaculate condition. There's nothing we're hiding mechanically or with the electric or water or anything like that. They're solid units, and we're just hoping that we find a great home for them.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm so honored and privileged to be helping you with that process. We're going to find the perfect buyer. If you'd like to place an offer, please contact me and I will help you walk through the process so that you can walk away with one of these amazing skoolies. Thank you so much, Roshan, for your time.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Rebecca.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, well, we are going to sign off here then. And so thanks everyone for watching. I really appreciate you being on this live stream, or if you're watching the replay. Okay, yes, so we screen shared. We did a little virtual tour of both skoolies. If you would like a in-depth video, I can send you links. I have pictures as well, of course, of both of the skoolies. We are looking to get these into a buyer's hands as soon as possible. So if you want to place an offer, a lot of people end up purchasing sight unseen. And like we were saying too, if logistics or getting it moved to where you're located right now would be something that you would need in order to make this happen, just let us know and we're here to help. My email is Rebecca@tinyhousesociety.com. And this is Rebel Roots with Rebecca Anzini. We are planting seeds for transformation, exploring alternative living, alternative health, and just in general being a rebel and going against the grain and trying things that are unique and fun. So thank you so much for watching and signing off.